And welcome back to F1 Driver Career. It has been a minute, it has been 2 weeks. This weekend we're using the Cleveland Cavaliers helmet. If you haven't seen the time-lapse video, I highly recommend you do. It's not really a tutorial, it's more of watch me do it. I might make a tutorial on how to make a helmet in the future. But if you didn't notice from my helmet, that is actually just a reskin Charles Leclerc helmet, because back then when I first made this base template, I did not know like basic Photoshop stuff, so yeah. Anyways, we're on the back straight of Miami. You're gonna see this straight a lot in this episode. Again, just like in Azerbaijan, this is where the only overtakes are happening. We lose the back end just a little. Miami is probably one of my worst tracks. As you can see, they're set at 29.2, and yeah, we're 13th. We're barely touching the top 10. Miami is one of my worst. Oh, look, Carlos has a 5-place grid penalty, probably for blocking. But Miami is one of my worst tracks. I don't know why. I just don't like it. I don't think anybody likes Miami actually. As we suddenly go a second quicker, and that is actually going to be the fastest time of Q2. You can see, but it's only by 9 milliseconds, so I don't think it really counts. Alonso in P11, he's knocked out, and Alex Albon also knocked out. And now going into Q3 again on this straight. Yeah, I think this lap was actually slower. I'm not using scrub tires because I did not plan on using the softs in the race. And yeah, it's a 10th slower than my Q2 lap time. And now looking through the leaderboard, Lewis Hamilton sets a screamer of a lap time. He was 6/10 ahead, so I had to go out and obviously try to beat that. And now going through my entire Q3 lap, we go into turn 1. We're still positive on the delta, and now we're negative. The first sector is where I really struggle at. The middle sector is quite alright, but the first sector is one that I'm really bad at. Actually, the middle sector, I'm not just alright in the middle sector, I'm really rapid in the middle sector because the AI are really slow navigating the chicane underneath the bridge, going onto the highway. As we're 3/10 slower than Hamilton, but you know, there's still a lot of lap left. Anything can happen. I gain a lot of time through the chicane, as you can see right here. The curbs are the one that kills it. If the curbs weren't this deadly, maybe I would be able to navigate it easier. As we're only 0.05 of a second off of Lewis Hamilton, I think we're on pace to get in the front row. Not sure about pole. You can see there we actually lost 2/10 on the straight because my exit out of the corner was really poor. As we set a lap time good enough for Q2 for P2, it was a 1:27.9. Yeah, the exit of the chicane really killed my lap time, but it's Q2. Both Alpines making it. Fernando Alonso missing out on it. He got eliminated. So this is actually quite unrealistic because 2023 Alpine weren't that bad. So there we go. And see you for the race.
We're here in the coastal shores of Florida for the Miami Grand Prix, which has become the 11th Formula One track held in the United States. Grandstands are packed for what we hope is going to be another fantastic race. A lap of the Miami Grand Prix features 3.36 miles of track around the Hard Rock Stadium, and 19 corners make up the Miami International Autodrome, which will challenge the drivers in a tight wheel-to-wheel race. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and the engineer completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Perez, Oscar Piastri, Norris, Ocon, Gasly, Fernando Alonso, Tsunoda, Russell, Sainz, Ricciardo, Albon, Joe, Magnussen, Hulkenberg, Bottas, and Logan Sargent. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, How do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the run down into turn one, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
So if you can see, there is actually forecasted to be rain, so I'm going for the medium hard. I don't have any more fresh stuff, so I'm not going to risk anything. And the reason I'm going medium because I don't have to, because I'm going on to the inters anyways, may as well just maximize the amount of mediums I can use. Lewis Hamilton actually starting on softs, which is peculiar, to say the least. But maybe he's trying to be safe in case it doesn't end up raining. And he's trying to be safe and going on both compounds as we line up on the front row for the Miami Grand Prix. And now all lined up on the grid. It's time for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away we go for the Miami Grand Prix. I get a decent getaway. Lewis Hamilton covering my line though as we head into turn 1. I block Leclerc's line and that jeopardizes him. He had a brilliant start. He went from P5 to P3, now dropping down back into P5 because of me blocking his line. And I have a really slow getaway into turn 1 because my racing line was quite bad and Perez actually overtakes me. I try a bit there, but it's just way too tight to get anything done. I got on the brakes a bit too early to try and maximize my speed on the exit, but he sort of closed the door, so it wasn't really possible. Now on the straight heading into sector 2, as Verstappen is actually now alongside me. I'm not going to let that slide. He doesn't really put up an overtake attempt. I didn't really mean to overtake Perez here. That was sort of, a dive attempt just to put him off a little. But it's AI, so they probably wouldn't react to it. As we go through under the chicane, and I didn't cut the corner. I cut this corner quite a bit times. Now on the back straight on the highway. And yeah, we're just going to see who has more power on the straight, who's using more battery. I'm not sure if I was using battery or not. I probably wasn't. I'm really conservative with battery on the first lap, as we're gonna try and force him on the inside so we can have the wider line on the outside to carry more speed. It doesn't work at all. Perez covers off the line, but I'm gonna try to get him into turn 1 now. We have a great opportunity to do so, as Lewis Hamilton is just cruising away just like in Australia. As I get a good look into turn 1, a bit of contact with my tire and his tire, but that pushes him back to Verstappen, and he drops from P2 to P4 in 2 corners. Really interesting stuff. So here's Charles Leclerc on board now. You can see he got a much better start than Verstappen and Perez. And yep, I was going way too slow there. He tried that attempt. If he tried to go on the outside of my car, it would have been ugly with the 2 Red Bulls. Here's Russell getting a pretty good start, going from P12 to P10 alongside Daniel Ricciardo in the Toro Rosso Hugo Boss. No, that's actually Sonoda, I think. And I'm having a scrap with Alonso right now. They're both on the soft tires as their starting tire, and Russell gets up into P10, the points position. Alonso trying to put up a fight, but not really. It's not going to work against George Russell, mainly because of his car is more superior. And now on lap number 2, Piastri now has a chance on Charles Leclerc. Leclerc going really slow. He dropped back by 1.8 seconds. Piastri now alongside Leclerc here. Looks like Norris is also trying to get a run off of Esteban Ocon. Will it be a double overtake for the McLaren drivers? Norris a bit scrappy, a bit dirty there with Ocon. Piastri gets ahead of Leclerc, and Norris is gonna stay behind Ocon. Ocon keeping the position at bay, and Piastri getting into the top 5. Now looking up ahead, it's me and Max Verstappen. Will Verstappen attempt anything? He actually has the inside now. He's gonna try going for the final corner. I'm guessing he just drained up his battery, unless the straight line speed of the Red Bull is better than the Ferrari. As we're alongside now, Hamilton sets the fastest lap going to the penultimate corner. It's almost 3 wide. Verstappen gets past. I'm going to attempt another one down the inside into turn 1. What a move. And Verstappen cut the corner a bit naughty with track limits there. And here's Yuki Tsunoda spinning into turn 1, causing a massive pileup. This wouldn't have caused a pileup in real life. And the safety car has been deployed as I lose the rear massively back there. But no, that wouldn't have caused the safety car in real life, because every human being is smart enough to avoid the spinning car, maybe apart from Ricciardo. And here's Hülkenberg and Sargent being held up by the safety car. But come on, mate. Come on, Burned. You should have put your hand out to tell them to go. Yeah, anyways, it's whatever. And now on the restart, we're right behind Hamilton, sort of backing off Verstappen into Piastri. And if you noticed, Perez actually came into the pits. I forgot to put that in the timeline. And I'm lazy to change it now, so here we go. I'm just sort of on the throttle a bit. I cannot do an aggressive restart, sadly, like I was doing with Leclerc and Azerbaijan. Mainly because this, you can see it's a hairpin going into the start-finish straight onto the main straight. No, it's not really a straight. There's still a left-right-hander up ahead. And then Lewis Hamilton restarts the race now. I sort of timed that quite perfectly. And it's going to be a drag race going down into turn 1. I attempt the outside first. Massive dive attempt on the inside. Oh my gosh, that would have been really ugly if it was real life. Losing the back a bit now. And there's Verstappen all over me and Piastri as well. Verstappen down the inside, defending this position quite well. Oh no, there's contact between Max and Piastri again. That would have been ugly in real life. That would have been a monumental crash there with Verstappen and Piastri. Now, who has the better straight line speed? No, Max does, but Piastri is just using his battery. That rhyme. Piastri using his battery. Right here. No DRS yet. It's just the start of the safety car restart. And Piastri gets ahead of Verstappen into the podium, places Leclerc and Ocon also having a bit of a fight. But Verstappen maintains P3. And here's Hülkenberg and Perez. Perez actually overtaking Hülkenberg. Pretty easy move on the Haas car. And he should be able to climb up more places. Looking later on the next lap, in lap number 7, I have a chance on Lewis Hamilton right after the chicane. There's not much going on right now. We're just trying to close in on him. Maybe find him napping on the chicane. It won't really happen yet, but on the straight we'll have a great opportunity. And no DRS yet. It is only the second lap after the safety car restart. I'm going to have to use my battery if I even want to come close to Lewis Hamilton. Now, you're gaining on the straight. We're gaining quite a bit. I might be able to look for something on the inside. Yes, not quite, as Lewis Hamilton locks up going to the penultimate corner. And that caused a minor pileup with Verstappen behind. And if that was real, he might get a penalty for brake checking. But he locks up mid-corner, so I don't think he will. Verstappen's alongside. He attempts to move on the inside. This is not ideal for me because I want to catch up to my teammate. I don't want to play games with Verstappen as I lose the back end entirely. Piastri finds something on the inside of Verstappen. He's going to try and find the inside of me. And he gets past. But I'm going to try and defend that position. Not quite. We're still side by side. I'm going to attempt the switchback move going into this corner, and yes, it does work. Now on the straight, can Verstappen get past back on Oscar Piastri? He's really close. He's just lurking behind his McLaren. Come on, switch the focus past me. I guess I'm not going to. Why wasn't I doing? There we go. So here's Piastri now. It's a lot of, I don't know why Ocon isn't trying anything, but okay. Verstappen and Piastri alongside, and Ocon spins. Ocon, if you saw in the background, Ocon spun his car around, and it's another safety car deployed by the stewards. Why? Why would you have to deploy a safety car for that? He didn't cause a pileup or anything. This does not make sense at all, but it is what it is. In fact, it will actually help my cause because Verstappen dropped me way behind to the point where I'm no longer near Hamilton. You can see there Verstappen weaving, almost lost the back end on the straight. And he's alongside Piastri here, and yep, Ocon just got caught up with how close they are. It's probably dirty air, but this wouldn't warrant a safety car in real life. I don't know why it's a safety car here, but in F122, something similar happened in Austria, and there's actually damage that time. And oh look, I crossed the white lines. Yeah, you should watch the F122 Austrian Grand Prix Career Mode video. It's actually a pretty good one. And so these are the guys not pitting. I don't get why. It was actually a double stack with Hamilton, so I had to back up Verstappen just a bit so that the gap wouldn't be, so it wouldn't have to wait that long for Hamilton. And look at that, Verstappen's already ahead of me, and we're way behind him. Now at least there's no one splitting the both of us. So this is not ideal either. I probably should have backed him up a tiny bit more. And now on the pit lane exit, and gonna continue on with the race. And looking further down in the lap, you can see now it's now Leclerc, Piastri, and Norris. No, actually only Piastri and Norris, and Sainz coming into the box. And it's still Leclerc, Gasly, I think, staying out, as well as Fernando Alonso. Perez actually boxed already, but way too early. It was in the first safety car stint. So yeah, at least he got a minor advantage from that, as now we are getting ready for the safety car restart. And I'm doing what Max Verstappen would do on Max Verstappen. You know, he likes being alongside the driver ahead in a safety car restart. You can't do that anymore, actually, because of Abu Dhabi 2021. And now we find the outside, try to be alongside for when Gasly finally decides to put the throttle down, as Leclerc and Alonso find the pit lane. And it looks like it's going to be Gasly versus Perez and Hamilton at the safety car restart. I'm going to try and just get Verstappen out of the way immediately. And sadly, there's not enough room on the exit of turn 1. And now it's looking up ahead to Gasly, Perez and Hamilton. As now you can see Gasly, Perez and Hamilton up ahead, and actually George Russell sort of creeping up behind my car. But he's on the hard tire, so it should be pretty easy to get away. You can see there Verstappen just squirreling his car a bit, and you finally get ahead of Max, putting the throttle down pretty aggressively. But that's P4, and now looking up ahead, Hamilton and Perez alongside. Will Hamilton get Perez before Perez even gets Gasly? What's gonna happen here? Gasly finds the inside of Perez finds the inside of Gasly. I think Hamilton nearly made it 3 wide. Will Gasly fight back the position? Yes, he will. Now looking at my onboard to see my POV of this battle, you can see it's really tight now going through the chicane. Gasly, what a great launch going through the chicane. He hasn't boxed yet. I'm guessing he's staying out for the wets. That's actually a good strategy. And now on the back straight, on the highway, it's going to be a drag race going into the final corner. The straight line speed of the Renault is horrible compared to the Honda. This should be pretty straightforward, as Perez fully gets ahead of Pierre Gasly into the final corner. And yep, Perez finally gets ahead of Gasly. But can Hamilton clear Gasly before turn 1? He doesn't want to be held up by him for too long. He's going to lose so much ground on Perez as Hamilton goes around the outside of the Frenchman. Can he do it? Yes, he will. Hamilton gets past Gasly, and he's now behind Perez, looking for an attack. And now going on my onboard, it's my turn to overtake Gasly. He's just losing so many positions. I get him into turn 5. I can't really count. And I think Verstappen is also about to get past Gasly, but he's in the... Actually, no. He's in the better tires, as I actually do a bit of track limits, whatever. Now looking on the onboard of Verstappen, another drag race, no DRS yet. But again, it's Honda power versus Renault power. The Red Bull fighting against its former engine supplier. He's gonna find Gasly around the outs. Why aren't you going for that? You have the better car. And Hamilton's about to get past Perez. I'm just gonna skip to this ahead. Going into the chicane, Hamilton has to back out. If not, actually no, if he was aggressive with that and if the AI actually had a brain, that might have been an overtake. And so here we go, Hamilton on Perez. No DRS just yet, as I mentioned before. We're just gonna look at Verstappen and Gasly, because I feel like this could actually have something happen on this straight, as Verstappen goes round the outside of Pierre Gasly. And yeah, there you go. That is Gasly's race. Fighting in the top 5, pretty much done for. Similar thing happened in Saudi Arabia. And now going on later down in the lap 13, the rain has started. The raindrops, you can see on Hamilton's POV, the raindrops have started to fall. And now What will Hamilton do going inside of Perez? And I fake a move to the inside just like I did earlier to Verstappen. And and actually got me closer to them. Can we get Perez on the highway now? Let's see what we're able to work out as I cut the chicane. Just ignore that. And oh, we get a good run on the exit. We're gonna be side by side. I got on the power much earlier than Perez. We are ahead of the Mexican driver. We have DRS even though it's raining. I don't think we have to... Oh, we're side by side here. I'm gonna cover off his line to defend this position. I'm gonna go on the outside now. Perez hugging the inside line tight. He's not... No, his defense is too weak. Oh, I lose the back end. His defense is too weak for me. And here's Max Verstappen now. And he's actually gonna find something on me. He's gonna go on the outside line. What's gonna happen here? I hung the inside. And Verstappen cannot get past. He gets a better exit, but we're gonna cover off his line. And yeah, that's about it for Verstappen. And it's raining now, so you can't do anything about it. DRS will be disabled soon. And Sergio Perez has an engine failure. He is out of the Miami Grand Prix. And that just happened so suddenly when he was falling back. And now his engine died. Well, I guess that saves him from embarrassment. You can see now his onboard. Nope. Mid-corner just died. And here are the other guys getting past him. You know, he's looking sad and all. And Charles Leclerc, since he was dead last, he's actually the first one to come into the pits to the intermediate tire. So this might play to his advantage as he now switches over to the inters. So we're going to see how much positions will he climb, or if he'll barely climb any at all. And see here, struggling a bit, having to be very gentle with the throttle. I cut across the white lines again. That is very illegal. It's very hard coming to the pits as I just lock up there. And Lewis Hamilton came in first. This time I wasn't trying to back up Max. Oh, he actually had a pretty slow stop. That's going to hinder my pit stop as well. And Verstappen jumps me again. Just like the last time. But just like the last time as well, there's no one splitting the both of us. So it's not as bad. We actually have a 1.9 stop. That's the fastest stop all season. It just said teammate in the pits even though I'm just exiting it. What? Yeah, so that's the fastest stop all season. Hey, that's pretty good, but we got held up, so extra 2 seconds at 3.9. And you can see actually dropping a bit to Verstappen, but we're now really close because he's being held up sort of by Alonso. That's giving me a good chance as we're about to go into the chicane. And look at that, very cheeky move. Alonso is holding up Verstappen way too much, and I find the perfect opportunity to attack. And we got Alonso right as we head to the highway. And looking up ahead to Lewis Hamilton, Hülkenberg, and Logan Sargent. What? Pretty straightforward for the Ferrari driver, as all of them are on the dry compounds. What is Tsunoda doing? That is very stupid. Why will you defend your position when you're on the dries and the person you're fighting is on the wets and you have to come into the pits? That's actually a very stupid move. That if that was real, he definitely should have got penalized for that if it was real. And now it's time for the Miami Grand Prix train, and Albon's actually in P4, so he's already scoring more than 100% of what he scored last season, which was 0 points. And here's Russell on Ricciardo. Very dirty move from Russell. Contact with the Toro Rosso a bit. Piastri dropping to P9. Well, he was actually dead last as well, so I guess that's not as bad as what else could have happened. And here's Alonso now, trying to get past Nico Hülkenberg. Is the move possible? Again, a bit of contact just like between Russell and Ricciardo. I'm about to go into the chicane onto the highway, but Hülkenberg actually keeping him at bay. The AI can't overtake for crap on the wet tires. They just get stuck behind each other. I don't know why. And looking up to Leclerc right now, even though he got a 7th position jump from boxing the earliest, he's going really slowly. I don't know why. It's probably an issue with the car. So yeah, because he was going slow even at the start of the race. Here's Yuki Tsunoda now after spinning out, causing the first safety car. Gets himself into P13, overtaking Charles Leclerc, the Mercedes. Onward with Leclerc now. Now on the outboard view. And who's going to get into turn 1? Will Leclerc stick it round the outside? No. Tsunoda gets into P13. And Leclerc will lose a position. Tough luck, mate. Sebastian Vettel 2014. Now looking later down in the lap, Leclerc is now about to get overtaken by Logan Sargent, the man who does not know what a kilometer is. Norris taps his rear end just slightly and dropping way back of the grid. Norris, I think, was running in P7 earlier, and it was actually a McLaren 1-2 for a minute. But yeah, McLaren sort of running up. Norris sort of running to the back of him. Now on lap number 23, it's Norris' turn to get past Leclerc. Leclerc just dropping as many positions as he can right now. Norris finding the inside into turn 1. Yes, it works. And now I think Hülkenberg and Alonso won't pass Leclerc. And looking now into lap number 24, George Russell now getting past Valtteri Bottas. Pretty easy move, if you ask me. And a bit of contact there. Russell! Come on, George, you're better than this. Actually, no, this is quite realistic. And now Magnussen getting past Ricciardo. It doesn't really work there. Piastri in P8. Ricciardo actually looking for a charge on Piastri on his former team. It seems like he won't be able to get that on Yuki Tsunoda's view now. And he spins again! The second time in this race, this time in the wet. But very clumsy from Tsunoda today, and yeah. So here's Alonso. He won't finish last at least. That's a good takeaway from this race. Piastri's turn to overtake Valtteri Bottas after George Russell did him earlier. He's going to find the outside of his Sauber. They make a bit of contact on the side pod on Piastri's front left. Piastri on the inside going into the chicane. And he is ahead of Valtteri Bottas. And we're nearing to the end of the race now on the penultimate lap. Just a bit of onboard action between me and Verstappen. I completely missed the apex. I was actually going pretty quick for a moment. I think I was as like 3.9 seconds behind Hamilton. But around lap 24, I don't know, just the car wasn't feeling the same. Oh no, running a bit deep there. The car wasn't feeling the same. I was putting the same throttle input and brake input, but I was always locking up and losing the rear. And also for a moment my ERS was stuck on as I completely missed the apex again, but Verstappen has a real chance this time, and we sort of drop him back for now. But I'm gonna make a monumental mistake on the chicane right about now. I run in too deep. Verstappen on the outside, he gets ahead of me for a second right there, but I left him little to no room for him to get past. Slightly dirty, but whatever. And using my ERS now. So yeah, my ERS was stuck open for a bit. I was at 0% for a few laps. I didn't bother showing that because I don't know, this video will be way too long. And here's Lewis Hamilton now going through the final 2 corners to cross the line and win the Miami Grand Prix. And here's me and Verstappen now. Verstappen closing up one last time, but he's gonna drop back. I think he stepped on the brakes there. And yep, that's the Miami Grand Prix over.
Complain about that one. That was an excellent drive. Well done.
And that's the checkered flag. What an amazing victory in what has been a great Miami Grand Prix. And talk to me. What do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
Well, keeping their tyre temperatures up in the tricky wet conditions was really important. There's not much grip out there at the best of times, and it's 10 times worse if you're out there on cold tyres. So the way they kept the rubber in its proper operating window was a huge advantage today.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari do it again.
That was okay, I guess. I mean, I would have obviously preferred to win, but I couldn't really find anything this race, and I genuinely just suck at Miami. At least two good things happened. Magnussen and Albon are in the points. In fact, Albon finishes in P4, which is really nice. Leclerc in P5, and actually me and Hamilton climb up. Perez falling behind just like in real life. And yeah, that's all I can say for today's episode. There's still 4 drivers left to score points. Sonoda. Oh wow, Ricciardo scoring points instead of Sonoda. That's unrealistic. So thank you guys for watching today's video, and look, everyone in the constructor scores points. So yeah, that's it for today's video, and goodbye.